Right now, as you're watching this, your body is aging not slowly, not someday in the future, but in real time. Tiny structures inside your cells are breaking down, your DNA is getting damaged, your immune system is quietly shifting, and here's the unsettling part. Most of this is happening without you feeling anything at all. But what if you could actually slow that process down? Not with hype, not with supplements, but with what real science from some of the most respected studies in the world actually says. Stay with me, because some of what you're about to hear might completely change how you think about aging. And hey, before we go deep, if you like content that breaks down complex science into something you can actually use, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. Hey, I'm Blue. Welcome back. Let me ask you something, and I want you to actually think about it for a second. If your body came with a manual, would you read it? A manual that tells you exactly what's going wrong inside you, and more importantly, what you can actually do about it? Because over the past couple of decades, scientists have been building exactly that. They've published some of the most important research in modern medicine, studies that don't just describe aging, but break it down into precise biological processes. So I went through 8 of these landmark studies, from journals like Cell, The Lancet, Science, so you don't have to. And what they reveal is not just fascinating, it's actionable. Part 1. The clock inside your cell. So let's start simple. What is aging? Biologically, not philosophically, not emotionally, but inside your body. What is actually happening? Scientists answered this in a groundbreaking way by mapping what they called the hallmarks of aging. And think of it like this. Instead of one single cause, aging is more like a system slowly falling out of balance. Here's one of the most important pieces, your DNA. Inside your body are about 37 trillion cells, and inside each of those cells is DNA, your instruction manual. But every single day, that manual takes damage. From sunlight, from pollution, even from just being alive and breathing. Tiny errors, tiny breaks, and over time, they start to pile up. Now here's something most people don't realize. Your body can repair this damage, but not perfectly. And as the years go by, damage starts to outpace repair. That's the first crack in the system. Now let's talk about something even more fascinating. Telomeres. These are like protective caps at the ends of your chromosomes. You can think of them like the plastic tips on shoelaces. Every time a cell divides, those tips get a little short. Eventually, they get so short the cell can't function properly anymore. It stops dividing. It starts malfunctioning. Sometimes it even sends distress signals to other cells. Now, pause for a second. If this is new to you, just type DNA in the comment. I want to see how many of you are still with me here. And it doesn't stop there. Inside your cells, damaged proteins begin to accumulate. Basically, biological trash your body can't clean fast enough. Your mitochondria, the parts of your cells that produce energy, start losing efficiency. Your stem cells, the ones responsible for repair, begin to run out. And the way your genes are turned on and off starts to change. All of these things are connected. That's the key idea. Aging is not one thing, it's a cascade. When one system starts failing, it pulls others down. With Part 2, your body's silent fire. Now here's where things get really interesting, because running through almost all of these aging processes is something you've probably never heard of. Inflammaging, yeah, inflammation plus aging. And it might be one of the most important concepts in modern health science. Here's what it means. As you get older, your immune system doesn't just weaken, it becomes chronically active, not in a dramatic way, not like when you get injured, but in a low-level, constant background way, like a fire that never fully goes out. You don't feel it, you don't see it, but it's there, and over time, it starts causing damage. Part 2, your body's silent fire. Now here's the twist. This inflammation isn't just a result of aging, it actually speeds aging up. It's a loop. Conditions like diabetes, heart disease, metabolic disorders, they don't just come from aging, they feed back into it, accelerating the process. One of the biggest drivers, cells that should have died, but didn't. These are called senescent cells. They basically stop working, but instead of disappearing, they hang around and release inflammatory signals. It's like having broken machines in a factory that not only stop working, but start damaging everything around them. And then there's your gut. Trillions of bacteria living inside you. When that system shifts out of balance, it can also contribute to inflammation. Oh, let me ask you this. How many of you have ever thought about inflammation as something that happens silently for years? Drop a in the comment if that surprises. Part 3, what you eat and when now. Let's talk about something you deal with every single day, food. And this part is honestly a bit uncomfortable, because one of the largest global studies ever done on diet found something shocking. In a single year, poor diet was linked to 11 million deaths worldwide. Not from lack of food, but from eating the wrong things. Too much salt, not enough whole grains, not enough fruit. Think about that for a second. But here's where it gets even more interesting. It's not just what you eat, it's also how much and when. Let's start with how much. Researchers studied something called caloric restriction. This doesn't mean starving, it means reducing calorie intake, usually by about 20 to 40%, without losing nutrients, and across multiple species, from simple organisms to monkeys to humans. The results were surprisingly consistent. Slower aging, lower disease these risks. Now, before you panic, this doesn't mean you should suddenly cut your food in half. That's not the point. The point is, your body responds to scarcity in powerful ways. Fasting, which brings us to fasting. When you go without food for a period of time, your body doesn't just sit there waiting. It switches mode. It starts cleaning itself, literally. Damaged components inside cells get broken down and recycled. Inflammation goes down. Metabolism becomes more efficient. In some studies, fasting has been linked to protection against diabetes, heart disease, neurodegenerative conditions. Now, I'm curious, have you ever tried fasting? Even just skipping breakfast? Let me know in the comments. I read them. Part 4, the sitting epidemic. Now, let's shift to something much simpler, movement, or more accurately, the lack of it. A massive global analysis found that physical inactivity is linked to about 6% of heart disease cases, 7% of type 2 diabetes, and around 10% of certain cancers, and overall, millions of deaths per year. But here's the part most people miss. You don't need to become an athlete. The biggest difference is between doing nothing and doing something. Even moderate activity can significantly change outcomes. So if you've been thinking, I don't have time to work out, the data suggests something important. You don't need perfect. You just need movement. Part 5, the hidden ingredient, other people. Now here's the one that surprises almost everyone. Your relationships. A massive analysis of over 300,000 people found that individuals with stronger social connections had a 50% higher chance of survival. 50%. That's comparable to quitting smoking. Let that sink in. Your friendships, your family, your sense of belonging are not just emotional, they're biological. And it's not about how many people you know. It's about depth, meaning, connection. So here's a real question. When was the last time you had a genuinely meaningful conversation with someone? Not small talk. Real connection. Part 6, your brain and dementia. Risk. Finally, let's talk about the brain, because this is one of the biggest fears people have about aging. A major global report found that around 40% of dementia cases could potentially be delayed or prevented. That's almost half. How? By addressing factors across your life. Education, blood pressure, obesity, smoking, physical activity, social isolation, even hearing loss. Now here's the key idea. It's not one thing, it's accumulation. Small factors adding up over decades. And importantly, it's never too early and never too late. So when you put all of this together, what do these studies actually tell us? That aging is not a single switch. It's a process, a system, a series of changes happening across your cells, your body, and your life. And while you can't stop it completely, you can influence it in ways that are measurable, real, scientific. Now, I want to hear from you. Which part surprised you the most? The fasting? The social connection? The inflammation? Drop it in the comments. I'm genuinely curious. And if you made it this far, you're exactly the kind of person this channel is for. So, hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.